Hi, I'm introducing you to a really fun game called Mancala. Mancala is well known in Africa. I cannot say for certain that it originated there, but there's quite a few countries in Africa that know how to play this game. It is known as Bao la Kiswahili in East Africa and as Owada in Western Africa. It is also played in South Asia, from the Maldives to Philippines, under the name of Kongak, as well as in Kazakhstan as Tohuz Korgul. So, how do you play? It's very simple. Young children can play. It's a great counting game for them to learn by. What do I need to do? First thing is setup. As you see here, there's stones with cups, and the two end large areas are called the mancalas. The easy way to set up is to evenly distribute the stones to each cup. As you can see here, there's an even distribution of stones in each cup, and that is the beginning setup of the game. In this case, it is 4 stones per cup. You can choose whoever goes first. It could be whoever's youngest, or rock, paper, scissors, however you see fit. So, the object of the game is for each player to try and win and obtain as many stones in their respective mancala. So typically this player would play to the right and this would be their mancala, and the opposite player here would play to their right to this mancala. As such, I want to get as many of these stones all in the entire board into my mancala, and the opposite player would want to get as many stones as possible into their mancala. So let's begin play. Pick up the stones, and I put 1 stone per cup, and in this case, waha! It landed in the mancala. This means I get to keep the stone in the mancala. It no longer is in play, and there's an extra turn. Therefore, the player may select to move to now distribute stones from this cup. I put 1 in the mancala that is mine, and then I keep going around the circle in this direction, putting a stone in each cup until I run out of stones. Now it is the next player's turn, and they will probably select this cup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, ending in their mancala with their respective stone means they have an extra turn. As such, they will probably want to again, they distribute a stone in their respective mancala and go around to the opposite side. It is now my turn once again. And again, I reach the mancala, get to keep the stone. I have an extra turn. In this case, it would make sense for me to move the single stone that's left here immediately over as my next turn, because I get to keep it, and in addition I get an extra turn. As such, I get to do a very strategic decision here, which is I have 1 stone landing in my empty cup while the opposite player happens to have stones in their cup. This means I have captured their stones. Again, I had a single stone left, the last one, fill an empty cup. That means I get to capture the stones in their respective cups and place them into the mancala that's mine. So of course the other player would be upset in losing their stones. Play continues until one side or the other has no more stones to move. Now, if I happen to have extra stones while I am going around and I see that I have completed my opponent's cups, filling them, I do not place the stone in their Mancala. I continued into my cup on the opposite side. Again, I had an extra stone here. I do not place a stone in their Mancala. I only place stones in my Mancala. And I would place it there. This one has 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Again, an extra turn. 1. This is a very strategic game. Again, I have more stones left. I do not place them in my opponent's Mancala. I continue on my side of the board. Again, I captured this particular stone as a result of this being empty and being filled by my particular stone. Again, I skip the Mancala as the opponent would not fill an opponent's Mancala. And since there's still extra stones, I keep going. I place one into my respective Mancala and keep going around. As you see right now, it is empty here. This means the end of the game. All the respective stones that are left now go into the corresponding Mancala for this side, which is down here. An easy way to figure out who has won is for me to reset up the game and fill from my Mancala my cups with the even distribution of stones, which in this case was 4. And that way I do not have to recount all the stones to figure out who has won. Since these have been evenly distributed with no stones left over, it is a tie in this case. Thank you very much for watching.